Hey, what's up guys? Alan here, coming up with another video. Today I'm going to talk about what is bodybuilding, what's the differences between all the styles of lifting and the people you see in the gym. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over a little bit about diet. We're going to go into recovery. So we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. So first thing what we're going to talk about is what is bodybuilding. Well, bodybuilding is to create a physique that's symmetrical. That's what bodybuilding is. You know, you can't just go blast out your arms every day and have big biceps and tiny shoulders. Everything's got to be symmetrical. And really, in a sense, that's what bodybuilding is. When you're in a show, you're getting graded on that, okay? So everything needs to be symmetrical and big, but everything's got to get bigger in unison with everything else. So what is powerlifting? Powerlifting, the difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting is you're using the same weights, a lot of the same exercises. Bodybuilding, you're taking less breaks. You're doing more reps, but you're not doing as heavy a weight as a powerlifter would. A powerlifter, he's gonna do a bench press and, you know, take a 5-minute break in between. He's just looking for one rep. You know, he just needs to get the weight from point A to point B. A bodybuilder needs to make that weight work against his muscles for a full contraction and a full stretch in order to rip fibers and build muscle, create hypertrophy. That's the difference. Strongman, that's another cool sport. Strongman, they do a lot of the same exercises too, but they're out there trying to lift heavy, cool looking objects, trucks, pull trucks, you know, throw kegs, Atlas balls, stuff like that. So they train a little bit different yet. So strongman, they're gonna do exercises specific to what lift they're gonna do in their competitions. So then you got CrossFit. CrossFit is all about doing a bunch of exercises all at once. You know, supersets as fast as you can. So generally those kind of people are going to be really lean, not big. They'll have muscle and power, but you know, that's about it. Strongmen, powerlifters, well, they're going to hold more fat than anybody else would because they're eating more calories. You know, a bodybuilder, his calories is going to be somewhere between 5,000 or maybe even less with some people. It depends on the body, but I'm going to say 5,000 to 8,000 calories a day. Strongmen, they're going to be upwards of 30,000 calories a day. Powerlifter is going to be upwards in 10,000 calories a day. So there is a big difference. Even though you're working out right next to the guy next to you and he's a powerlifter and you're a bodybuilder, there is a difference in the training, which is what's cool about it. And then you got your regular gym bros that just want to go in and pump out chest and arms, you know, every day, and that's cool too. You know, this sport is cool because you're always competing against yourself. Don't worry about everybody else is doing. You're only going to worry about that on stage. You're battling yourself. So that's what I love about this sport. I'm battling myself. I can always be a little bit better. So that's what I love about it. Me as a bodybuilder, you know, I eat around, well, my base calories are 6,000 calories a day in my bulk. So I actually eat around 8,000 a day because I have to eat my base meals, you know, and those are the meals I have to eat every day. Whatever I can eat on top of that is golden for me. So that being said, that's my body again. Like my trainer, he's on a lot less calories than me. So it's just my body type. My body type, I can burn through carbs and I can burn through stuff really quick. You take some of those guys like Dorian Yates, for example, he's a mesomorph. Well, his body, he's going to store fat if he eats as much as I do. So he's got to eat less carbs, more protein, and about 20% fat somewhere in there. I'm not sure what his diet is, but that's the difference in his body type to mine. So, and that's something that you're going to have to figure out yourself as you're training because you know, this is a learning experience. So you got to go with it. You're gonna pick a program. You're gonna go with it and see what happens. If it don't work, change something up. If it does work, don't change it. You don't want to change something that's not broke. So you know, and that's a big thing when it comes to bodybuilding. So the other thing I want to talk about is bodybuilding. There's 3 concepts of it: intensity, consistency, and time. okay? You gotta put the intensity into your workouts to get anywhere. And you gotta be consistent at it. You gotta do it every day. You gotta do it every day for a period of time to see results. So if you're thinking you're gonna go to the gym for 2 weeks and your bench press ain't going up in weight and you're not showing any muscles, you didn't give it enough time. Do not change nothing. You need to stick with a program for, I would say, at least a month, a training program, to see if it works for you, okay? So that's one tip I have on that. But again, like I said, what I do is, it may not work for you. It might work for you. It might not. For example, when I train to muscle failure. That's how I train. Every set is muscle failure. Well, you take Jay Cutler, for example. I believe he said that he's never done a set to muscle failure. You know, different body type. And that's just all it is. So my muscles grow this way. His may not. He might have to concentrate more on the contraction, so on and so forth. So back to the bodybuilding, on how you actually do your workouts, and I had mentioned before, stretch and contraction. When I say that, you're not just moving the weight like a power lifter. When you're moving the weight, you're feeling your muscle work, mind-muscle connection. You put your head inside of that muscle and you feel that muscle work. And that's how you do it. And it doesn't happen right away. I mean, certain muscle parts on my body, it came in quicker, like my back. It came in quicker. But stuff like my chest, it took years for my chest to actually activate, you know, and so I could get inside of my chest and work my chest. Because you got a lot of other muscles that are pushing that weight before they hit your chest. Like, for example, bench press. I mean, you got your triceps, you got your shoulders, you even have some legs, believe it or not, into doing a bench press. As a bodybuilder, legs are another day for me, and so is shoulders, and so is triceps. I just want to use my chest. So if my chest is lacking in any way, which it has in the past, I'm going to do things like pre-exhaustion. I'm going to start off with flies, dumbbell flies, so that I can wear out my chest before I even get to it. Because if I start off with a bench press, I'm going to use my triceps, my shoulders, and the last thing I'm going to be using is my chest. So by the time I get done with my exercises, my arms are dead, but my chest barely got the workout. So, and I'm going to talk about all this later, especially when I do my training videos. I'm going to explain a lot about this. But I want to leave you here at this point. And if you have any questions, you need to know anything else about the bodybuilding and the differences and all of that, put it in the comments, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. But from here, we're going to go to the gym, and we're going to talk about a little bit more stuff. So I'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, here at the gym now. I briefly talked earlier about bodybuilding, what it is, the difference between that and powerlifting and all the other weightlifting sports. One thing I didn't talk about was the fact that it's a 24-hour job, okay? I'm not a powerlifter and I'm not a strongman, but I don't think those are 24-hour, jobs for those sports, but they could be. And I'm not sure about that. I just don't know the answer to that. And I know bodybuilding is. So the easy part for me is the training. The hard part is a lot of times is the diet, the social events that I have to miss, all that kind of stuff. Because if you're a bodybuilder, you're not going out on a Friday night having drinks. It's just not going to happen. I mean, alcohol takes away from your testosterone levels, for one thing. You can't have that. So you're going to be considered boring. Although I don't consider myself boring. I think what I do is really cool. And that's why I do it. But what I'm trying to say is it's a 24-hour job. So from training to your diet to your recovery, it's a 24-hour job. So that being said, I have a business, and in my business I work really hard and I do physical labor. It's a construction business, and a lot of times I'm working 10, 12 hours a day, sometimes more, sometimes up to 16 hours a day. A lot of times I'm working the weekends too, so I'm exhausted. When I wake up in the morning, I feel like I got hit by a freight train. It's every morning. So, but that's not an excuse to skip the gym. So when I'm gone all day long, and I've been pouring concrete all day long and I'm just beat, I still got to go to the gym and do squats or whatever I'm doing that day. So that's no excuse not to do it. And when those days arise, those times that you don't want to go do your workout, you hit it even harder. And for me, when I do that, those are my best workouts. When I don't want to, when I'm too tired to do it, okay? So it needs to get to a point when you walk into that gym, a light switch turns on. You know, you're tired before, you get in there, now it's business. You got a certain amount of time to do your thing and to do it right, because it's all about time. Let's face it, it's all about time. You're only here so long, and you want to build and you know, whatever your goals are, you want to meet, and there's a time limit. So you got to be conscious of that. So those times on a Friday night when your buddies want to go out and drink and go to a bar and stuff, you got to train, man. You can't do that. So that's why there's not a lot of successful bodybuilders, or a lot of bodybuilders in general that are legitimate, you know, competition bodybuilders, because it's extremely difficult to do. And that's one of the big things I like about it, is it's a small percentage of people that can do it. So that, in my mind, it makes me feel special, I guess, in a way. I don't know. Makes you feel good about it. So that being said, so the workouts. It's been probably 2 years. In the last 2 years, I've never walked away from a workout thinking I could have done better. So every workout I do, I nail it. Sometimes I hit it harder than other times, but I'm hitting all the fibers and I'm ripping them down and I'm building muscle every workout. That's just the way it is. Because again, it's all about time. I can't waste one of those workouts, because what am I doing it for otherwise? So I just wanted to touch on that. I don't know what jobs you guys have, whether it's physical, whether it's not physical, but that needs to be thought about if you want to be successful at this. So the other thing is diet. So a bodybuilder's diet. I touched a little bit about my bulk diet and my base meals is what I call them. So I eat 6 times a day. Generally, for the most part, a bodybuilder's diet is going to be 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fats. That's not the same for everybody, okay? But that's a general consensus. For me, on my bulk, my proteins are going to be about 45-50%, and a lot of carbs. So I mean, in my diet right now, I think my end macro count at the end of the day is 356 grams of protein and 627 grams of carbs. So the fats, I think it's like 120 or something like that. But anyway, this is all tailored to your body. So what works for you? For my body, carbs work. I mean, I got to have the carbs. So that works for me. So other people can't have those carbs. Now, the difference between, we're gonna talk about the difference between your bulk and your prep. So your bulk, you're in high calories. Whatever your body can do, that's what you're on. Now you're still on. You don't want to gain a bunch of fat in your bulk. So dirty bulking is what they call it. That's not a good thing to do. So clean bulk is the way it's at. So you still need to eat clean food. It's all about clean food, okay? You can't eat McDonald's every day. Now, if you eat all your food that you're supposed to, yes, you can have some McDonald's. And I do eat McDonald's sometimes. But the basis of it is you've got to have your base meals down, okay? Your base calories. Because by the time I get to my prep stage, I want to have as little fat as possible, because it's less work I got to do to get it off. So right now I'm probably sitting, I think about a week, I'm going to go get calipered and figure out what my body fat percentage is, because I start my prep in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today, actually. So we'll figure out what that is, and it's going to, say what my diet's going to be basically. But I'm thinking I'm probably around 6 to 7% body fat, which is really low. So I don't necessarily need 10 weeks of prep. I probably need more like 8. But I'm doing 10 because obviously, something happens. I can keep better tabs on it. Both me and my trainer can. So that's why we're choosing 10 weeks. But the diet during that time is going to change dramatically. So basically the proteins are going to be the same, okay? Except I'm going to change some foods around. Instead of, my chicken, for example, on my prep, I'm going to eat chicken breast. On my bulk, I eat chicken thighs, okay? lean beef. I eat lean beef both phases, but on my prep, I'll be eating like cod, tuna. On my bulk, I eat salmon, you know, so stuff like that changes, and that all has to do with calories. So you're lowering your calories on your prep. My last prep was around 3,500, somewhere in there, calories at the end of the day. So, which is a lot of calories actually for a person, but my body could handle it. So at the end of my last prep, I actually had to start adding on cups of rice, a half a cup at a time. So by the time I was done with it, I was having, I think, 4 cups of rice a day, a cup of oatmeal, and 8 ounces of yams a day. So, which is a lot of carbs for your prep, but that's how my body worked. When you're in your prep stage, first couple of weeks, you know, you're gonna be dropping weight, you know, everything's gonna be going fine. Once you get down to about 6 weeks and less, it's all about what the mirror says, okay? That's gonna determine what you need to do with your diet. Whether you need to add, where you need to take away, where you need to add more cardio, where you stay at your cardio, whatever. So you're looking at your scale and how you look in the morning, because oddly enough, when your muscles get bigger, and this is what I've noticed, when your muscles get bigger, you can tell differences from things you eat. I mean, and it's pretty dramatic too. From the night before to that morning, you can tell a difference, whether you're full, whether you're not full. And when I say full, I mean full of carbs. Your muscles will expand. They'll be more grainy looking. Did you drink enough water? Are you dry looking? Are you holding water? You know, all that kind of stuff. So that's all determined on your look. Well, like I said in one of the older videos, I can't see what my back looks like. I can see nothing back there. So that kind of thing, we have to rely on my trainer. If you don't have a trainer, you got to rely on somebody else that's not biased. So your girlfriend's probably going to say you always look good. It's not really who you want to judge that. So even though it's really nice she says that, you do look good, but there's a difference between a beach body and a competition ready body. Big difference. And the difference is when you're standing up to dudes next to you that you can't find nothing wrong with them. Everything is impeccable. So that's prep. Prep is exhausting. Prep is very hard to do. I consider it torture. You look great. You look awesome. You feel like hell. The reason why you feel so bad is because you're doing cardio, a lot of cardio. Your training doesn't change. Your food changes, and that's where the feeling like crud happens, is the lowering the carbs. So you just don't have the glycogen and the energy to do your normal things. So that's prep. That's the hardest thing I think for everybody, is probably prep. Bulking is easy. So anyway, I hope I touched enough on that stuff. We're gonna have videos in the future because I am documenting, you know, I'm 2 weeks away from my prep, and we're gonna be talking about all that as I'm going through it. And we're gonna be having training videos and all that kind of stuff, showing how I train and what I think of training, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to you guys' comments on any of that kind of stuff. Again, intensity, consistency, time. That's all bodybuilding is those 3 things. You have to give it some time. Don't expect, there's nothing in this world that's gonna give you a quick result. You're not gonna lose 50 pounds in 2 days because you took a special pill. There's nothing out there that does that. Hard work is the only thing that does that. So don't let anybody tell you anything different. And I'm not a doctor, but been on this earth for 40 years, and I haven't seen any miracle, anything that can make you grow a bunch of muscle, make you lose a bunch of fat, make you look awesome overnight or even in a week. So consistency, or intensity, consistency, time. Time is the big one, and the consistency. They're actually all equal. Remember those 3 things. Another thing I want to talk about is training. When you're training, overtraining is a big no-no. So when I train, for last year, I do I do a body part a day, so Monday through Friday. Sometimes I might have to skip a training day during the week, so I'll do it on a Saturday or whatever. If I do more than that, and I've done 2 body parts in a day on a 3-day split, which is fine. I actually prefer doing that. The problem is when I'd get up to say, let's do my chest workout on a Monday, it'd be chest and back. Well, I wasn't pushing the same weight because I wasn't recovered all the way. So that's a big thing, recovery. And that's what we're going to talk about now, is recovery. And that's what overtraining is. If you overtrain, you're defeating the purpose, okay? You go in and you hit chest every single day in the gym, your chest is not only not going to grow, you're going to be fatigued, and you're not going to get the results you're looking for. So you have to recover. And by recovering, you got to figure out what your body can do. Now, if you're eating a whole bunch of food and you have a mesomorph body or something like that, you could get away with a 3-day training split, 2 body parts a day probably. But that's something you got to try for yourself. Again, remember, this is a learning experience. I can't tell you everything that's going to work for you because I don't know, and nobody can. So anybody who tells you that on anything, they're lying to you, because it's not true. So this is a ride that you got to take yourself, and just take little bits and pieces of what a lot of different people say and put it all together, and that's your training routine. That's how you're going to do things, and you're going to learn yourself. I mean, you're going to do things differently in 5 years than you are right now, just like I will. It's a learning experience. It's what's fun about the sport. You're battling yourself. So I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about. I'll touch a little bit on supplements. We're going to have more videos on supplements later. Supplements is what it is. It's a supplement. It's not replacing food. What you need is real food. Protein drinks are fine. They're fine. Do not rely on them though, okay? They have their place. It's a supplement. It's there to supplement your diet, okay? So don't go spend $600 on supplements at a store because, whatever supplement company told you, you're gonna look like this guy if you do that, because that's not true. I mean, it's just not true. They're selling a product, and that's their job. So be wary of that. So going over to GNC and buying a whole bunch of supplements just because, Jay Cutler sells it or whatever, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. So supplements have their place in bodybuilding, in a big place, but be wary of buying too much of them. And like I said, I'm going to talk about a lot of this stuff later, because there is a lot to talk about. I'll just briefly say the supplements I do take. I take a pre-workout before I work out. I have Carb Powder before every workout. Carb Powder works great for me. It gives me, once I get a pump, my muscles just blow up. And that's the carbs, because they're filling up with glycogen. So that works for me. That might not work for somebody else. Okay, it works for me. So I have my Carb Powder. I have my pre-workout. I have a protein drink once a day, usually right before bed. Usually, sometimes I have to supplement it other times in the day. But other than that, I rely on food, basic, clean food, and that's what it's all about. And that's why I said earlier, it's the hardest part is the diet. You gotta eat some boring food, man. Now you can get creative and you can make some cool recipes and look up really good recipes and all that stuff. Me, when I started, I just ate boiled chicken and brown rice. It was completely boring, but I did it for a reason. The reason why I did it is because I had a goal in mind for eating this food, period. I wasn't eating for taste. And even today, I'm not eating for taste. That's not why I'm eating. I'm eating for a goal. As a matter of fact, nowadays, I don't like eating food. I don't like eating. I have to force myself to eat most of the time because I'm doing it for a goal. So you got to remember that. You're gonna have short-term goals in bodybuilding. I want to win this show, and then I want to go do this, or whatever. I want to, get my arms this big, or whatever your goal is. Make short-term goals and go with it. Don't make them too big at first, okay? You can have that later on the shelf. Make small goals, go with it, and just do it the right way. And if you guys, like I said, you guys need any help, I'm here to help you. Give me a comment, whatever you want to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you guys. I'll see you next week.